The great Penrhyn quarries at Bethesda were started in the 18th century by an Englishman, Richard Pennant, with a fortune made on the sugar plantations of Jamaica. Pennant's descendants, the Penrhyn family, built a castle near Bangor, which remained in the family until 1970, when it was given to the National Trust in lieu of death duties. One of the Bethesda men who worked in the Penrhyn quarry was Bob Hughes. He spent 40 years there as a rockman and slate maker.
Dyma garreg las ora y Penrhyn. Ac yna, da ni'n ei hollti, maen nhw wedi llifio, a mi dwi yna yn mynd i hollti nhw rwan. I'r tewdwr sydd yn debycach o fod yn dew llechan to. Ac yna, dwi'n mynd i hollti rhain rwan, ac yna cawn ni'n haddu wedyn. My language is Welsh, of course, isn't it? That's why my English is at fault sometimes. I think in Welsh, and I got to translate it. If we were trying to get the best roofing slate, you look for the best. Then you just try to split them. Not too thin, or else the heat or a very cold weather might affect a very thin slate. So you split them to the best possible thickness. Dyma nhw. Yn barod i'n haddu, llechan, yn barod i rhoi ar y drafal a i'n haddu, rhoi ar y to. Practice makes perfect. The eyes of the quarryman is as true as a joiner square. That's what the old saying is. Yes. The eyes of the quarryman is as true as a joiner's square, which is quite true too. That's true. And it comes by practice, isn't it? The same as playing the violin or an organ or anything like that. And it's the same with everything, I think. Practice. I've worked there all my life, and I can tell you this, you were on your own then. Yes, you were on your own. You had to pay for everything. I can give you an example now. The whole mountainside came down, millions of tons, and I lost everything. Everything, every tool, ropes, shovels, sledgehammers, crowbars, and I didn't get a penny from the company. They're still there under their fall. So we had to buy another set. That's how we were treated. And that's how Lord Penrhyn built his castle, I suppose. It's a sore point with me. I haven't been there. Some people tell me that I'm at fault. I'm looking at that huge building and the luxury that surrounds it, and to think of my people and the people of this area working for absolutely nothing in the quarry. They were just pouring wealth to one family and living on the breadline, was it? And he was having all the chestnuts, isn't it? They tell me that I should go in But somehow, I think of my forefathers, what they've suffered. I've heard my father and mother saying things about the 90 and 100 strike and the struggle they had and the cruelty, and that was how Lord Penrhyn treated people.
George Sholto Gordon Douglas Pennant, the second Baron Penrhyn, refused to tolerate any trade union activity in the quarry. This finally led to the longest strike in British industrial history. On 6th November 1900, Penrhyn instructed his English manager, E.A. Young, to issue a lockout notice. The strike which followed was to last 3 years. C. Sheridan Jones, a correspondent for the London Daily News, went to Bethesda to cover the strike.
The fact is that Lord Penrhyn presents grossly and palpably the old feudal view, the divine right of the landlord to do what he likes with his own. The men who are suffering today urge that it is their skill and toil which give value to the quarry, and surely they have some claim to control the conditions of their own labour. This time there will be no half measures. It is a fight to the finish. If the men surrender, they will go in utterly beaten and crushed. Lord Penrhyn's victory will be decisive.
They wanted their own terms, and Lord Penrhyn said that he wanted to run his quarry on his terms. In the end, of course, the men were beaten. They had to go back on his terms. It was either that or starve.
The men went back to the quarry, but the 3 years of the strike and the hardship which followed have never been forgotten in Bethesda.
The suffering was so deep. If you go to the cemeteries here, people dying, well, when they should be in the best of health. People working in the quarry, long hours, working Saturday afternoons, then coming home, try and find a job on the farm to help. It was slave labour, really, slave labour, taking what they could out of a man. I don't miss the quarry at all, but I miss the company. I miss the culture of company, listening to men that should have been through college.